Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Napoli now want to sign a 23-year-old Arsenal defender. Italian champions Napoli are reportedly interested in signing Arsenal defender Jakub Kiwior this summer. The Poli only joined the Gunners in January this year. He has played just 8 times under Mikel Arteta, and his performances at the back end of the season were really impressive. Napoli know Kiwior isn't the first choice at Arsenal, so they want to offer him a way out. Calcio Napoli 24, however, claim that the Gunners have no interest in this deal. Arsenal star Jakub Kiwior was one of the most impressive defenders of his age in Italy during his time at Spezia. The now 23-year-old was a star in the Serie A in the first half of last season, and that convinced Arsenal to splash £20 million on his signature 5 months ago. Kiwior barely played in his first few months as an Arsenal player, but following William Saliba's injuries and Rob Holding's poor form, the Poli was given an opportunity. He really impressed at right centre half, and it became clear that he was a top talent. Napoli are running the risk of losing Kim Min-jae to Manchester United, and they have reportedly identified Kiwior as a possible replacement. They think the Poli's lack of game time at Arsenal could open the door for a possible move. However, the report claims that Arsenal have absolutely no interest in letting Kiwior go, not even on loan. He will stay at the Emirates beyond the end of the summer's transfer window. That is absolutely the right thing to do. Kiwior is definitely not the first choice at Arsenal. Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba are both ahead of him in the pecking order. However, he could have a huge part to play next season. Arsenal are back in the Champions League, and Gabriel and Saliba cannot play every single game. Kiwior will definitely have opportunities, and he could have a massive impact when required. Kiwior, still only 23, is a player with humongous potential, and Arsenal shouldn't even consider letting him go. Journalist says a 22-year-old Arsenal man's value has plummeted in the last year. Arsenal player Emile Smith Rowe has seen his value plummet this season after struggling with injuries and minutes. That's according to journalist James McNicholas speaking on the Arsecast Podcast. It's been a difficult 12 months for Emile Smith Rowe, but the summer might offer him a chance to show his worth sticking with at Arsenal. The attacking midfielder has been called up to England's under-21 squad for the European Championships starting this month. After failing to start a league game for Arsenal, he will be hoping he is given more minutes this summer. Smith Rowe then has a big preseason ahead of him with his club. Mikel Arteta has reportedly given Smith Rowe one more season to prove he can contribute at Arsenal. Smith Rowe has been linked with an exit from Arsenal, but McNicholas believes his value has fallen this season. He said, I think there was a link this week with West Ham potentially that I saw on social media. As we were saying, our players will often can be decisive, but I don't think Emile Smith Rowe, while I wouldn't describe him as happy with last season, I don't think he is quite at the other end of the spectrum where he's going to fight to get out of Arsenal. Wouldn't this be the worst time to try to sell him as well in some respect? I just think his stock's not particularly high right now, so I think let's rehabilitate him a bit and get him evolved, play some games, score some goals. If it then doesn't work out, at least we are selling him with a more appropriate value than right now, where I'd probably say his value is substantially lower than it was 12 months ago. Premier League rival want magnificent Arsenal player, but won't pay £30 million to sign him this summer. Newcastle United are still interested in signing Kieran Tierney this summer, but the Magpies do not want to pay £30 million for the Arsenal defender. That's according to a report from The Telegraph, which notes that Eddie Howe's side could end up making just 2 signings this summer amid concerns over financial fair play rules. Newcastle are gearing up for their Champions League return after an amazing rise this past season, but it seems that any hopes of the spending ramping up have been dashed. Kieran Tierney is one player who has been heavily linked with the Magpies. Reports from the Times have claimed that Newcastle are confident of doing a deal for the Scotland international. However, it appears that Newcastle are relying on Arsenal dropping their asking price. According to the report from the Telegraph, the Magpies will not pay £30 million for Tierney. It's not clear whether Arsenal would be prepared to drop their demands, but you would imagine that Mikel Arteta would be more than happy if Tierney was still in his plans next season, so Arsenal are surely unlikely to do Newcastle many favours, particularly as they are likely to be battling for a top 4 spot next season, and the Gunners will feel that £30 million is more than fair for Tierney. He does not suit the system Arteta wants his side to play, but he is an elite defender. He is a magnificent player at his best, and he would have the potential to be an amazing addition for Newcastle. If the Magpies are not prepared to pay £30 million for Tierney, perhaps Arsenal will hold out for a bid of that amount from elsewhere. Expert confirms Arsenal ace still wants a transfer away, but Gunners keen on buyback clause. Charlie Patino still wants a transfer away from Arsenal this summer, with Fabrizio Romano also confirming that the Gunners would be keen to have a buyback clause as part of any deal for him to leave. The talented youngster has long been highly rated at the Emirates Stadium, but it seems he is keen on a new challenge, according to Romano in the latest edition on his exclusive Out of Sight column. Patino has previously impressed on loan at Blackpool, and it perhaps makes sense that he now feels it's worth leaving Arsenal in order to play more regular first-team football. This is a bit of a worry for the Gunners, however, as they won't want to let go of such a promising home ground talent who could go on to blossom elsewhere and perhaps attract interest from their rivals in the future. It's therefore unsurprising that Arsenal would insist on a buyback clause, as Romano has made clear in his latest update. Bayern München now preparing bid for excellent 19-goal forward Arteta wants at Arsenal. Bayern München are ready to make a bid for Xavi Simons amid reports that the PSV Eindhoven starlet is wanted by Arsenal this summer. That's according to a report from Tutto Mercato Web, which notes that PSV would like to keep the 20-year-old after his outstanding season in the Eredivisie. Xavi Simons scored 19 goals in the Dutch top flight. Unsurprisingly, he is attracting attention. Reports from Football International claim that Arsenal are the side most likely to make a move for Simons, but it seems that the Gunners face competition for his signature. Tutto Mercato Web notes that Paris Saint-Germain have a buyback clause that may allow them to bring the forward back to the French capital. Simons is not keen to return to Parc des Princes, but there is also Bayern München in the running, and Tutto Mercato Web reports that Thomas Tuchel's side plans to make an offer for the starlet. It's not clear whether Simons would be keen to join Bayern, but he made a brave move opting to head to PSV while on the books at PSG. So you would like to think that Mikel Arteta could sell Arsenal to Simons if the opportunity presented itself. The Gunners are a side which is growing, and there are opportunities for younger players to come in and contribute. It would certainly be an exciting deal for the Gunners if they could sign Simons. His performance this past year was phenomenal. Kevin Campbell noted that the excellent winger destroyed Arsenal in the Europa League, and it would clearly be a big statement if they could ultimately beat the Bavarian Giants to his signature. Man United now want to sign Arsenal's target Musa Diabi. Musa Diabi is a wanted man heading into the summer transfer window. Arsenal have been strongly linked with the Frenchman as they search for a rotation option to play alongside Bukayo Saka. And now, according to the Mail, Manchester United are also keen. The Bayer Leverkusen forward is attracting interest from two of the Premier League's biggest clubs, and in all honesty, it's not hard to understand why. The attacker has been ripping up the Bundesliga over the past 2 years. He grabbed 42 combined goals and assists over the past 2 seasons, using his pace and skill to terrorize defenses. Diaby is at his core a speedster. According to the Speeds database, he is one of the fastest players in Europe, clocking in a top speed of 22.43 miles per hour. that is significantly faster than some other truly pacey players, including Marcus Rashford, who clocks in at just 20.69 miles per hour at his fastest. Of course, a player of this caliber isn't going to come cheaply. Diabi has been labelled as a £60 million player in the past, and with Manchester United shackled by FFP, at least until their takeover is sorted, this may be one that moves slowly. That could allow Arsenal to steal a march on this one, and Diaby could well be tempted by a move to the Emirates rather than Old Trafford. Arsenal have a great track record of developing and growing promising young wingers under Mikel Arteta, while the likes of Anthony and Jadon Sancho have had their growth stunted since arriving at Old Trafford. Where Diaby ends up remains to be seen, but one thing is for sure, this young man is a player to keep an eye on as we get into the groove of yet another summer transfer window. The most underrated player in the league has an offer waiting for him from Arsenal. Ilkay Gundogan has just become the second captain in Premier League history to lift a treble, but yet his future is still uncertain. Indeed, the German's contract expires in less than 3 weeks' time, and while Manchester City are trying to tie him down to new terms, he could be on his way out of the club. According to the Mail, Gundogan has a number of offers on the table from a number of different clubs, including Arsenal. Now, Arsenal fans shouldn't need us to tell them just how good of a signing this could be. A true winner who has an abundance of quality, Gundogan could be the perfect upgrade on Granit Xhaka when he eventually leaves to return to Germany. Described as the most underrated player in the league by Gary Neville, Gundogan is a footballer who can go under the radar at times, but when it comes to the business end of a season, he is always the difference maker. Arsenal certainly need a player like that. With all due respect to the Gunners, they crumbled at the end of last season, and that cost them the chance to truly challenge for a title. We have already seen the effect signing these proven winners from Man City can have on this Arsenal team. Zinchenko and Jesus have been transformative signings for Arsenal, and Gundogan could yet be the best of the bunch. Of course, with the likes of Barcelona sniping around, convincing Gundogan to come to the Emirates won't be easy, but given that he already has a relationship with Mikel Arteta, Jesus and Zinchenko, don't be too shocked if the North London club do manage to muscle their way to the front of this transfer battle. Sky Sports journalist shares what West Ham are ready to do after Arsenal bid for Declan Rice. Arsenal have been heavily linked with a move to sign Declan Rice this summer, and Sky Sports Germany journalist Florian Plettenberg has claimed that West Ham are now willing to accept the Gunners' bid. Mikel Arteta's priority this summer is reinforcement in central midfield. That has been the area of focus for months now, and Rice has always been the top target. The Guardian reported yesterday that the Gunners are closing in on a move to sign Rice. Plettenberg has now claimed that their bid is set to be accepted. Declan Rice is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, and it's no surprise that Arsenal are interested in signing him this summer. The unbelievable Englishman will enter the final year of his Hammers contract in July. There is an option to extend that by another year, but it looks certain that he will be sold in the coming weeks. A number of clubs are interested in signing Rice this summer, including German champions Bayern München. Plettenberg has claimed that the Bundesliga giants have a meeting today to discuss the midfielder. He also shed some light on Arsenal's bid and that West Ham are now willing to say yes. He tweeted, Bayern want to discuss Rice internally again today after the meeting with Hernandez, but still no offer yet. Bosses are still skeptical. Instead, Arsenal is preparing a final bid of more than €100 million plus bonus payment. West Ham is willing to say yes. Bayern is aware of Arsenal's new offer. Transfer to Bayern, very unlikely, as reported, but no final decision yet. It's not over until it's over, but Arsenal look very likely to sign Rice this summer. The Gunners already have an excellent squad with young players. They went toe-to-toe with Manchester City for most parts of last season, and a signing like Rice will only help them reduce that gap. The West Ham skipper is currently on international duty with England for their Euro qualifiers against Malta and North Macedonia in the coming days. Arsenal will be hoping to wrap this up right after those fixtures. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.